Good morning, this is Ron Brown. It is Sunday morning, April 30th, 2023. I'm going to do a very short report here. I'm pressed for time this weekend because my sister and niece are visiting from out of town. Anyway, I just wanted to get something out, and it's going to be focusing on long-term leaders. This is a scan that I've got in the files under my Insider Club files, and I just want to go over a few things. We spent a lot of time talking about the broader market and so on, but this is going to be a more focused report, and it's going to be short. Anyway, as usual, any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. If you're not using the high growth stock software, you should. Just go to highgrowthstock.com and order the trial, 30-day trial, and you don't have to give a credit card number. Before I go any further, I want to mention I got some good news from my oncologist this week. Most of you who know me or are in the Insider Club know that I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma 6 years ago now. Anyway, I got a report that there is no myeloma showing up in my system, which is remarkable. So I'm going to go ahead and this week try to finally get the material together to do a webinar series. The format's going to be, I'm going to put out a video, 15-20 minute video, and then come on once a week, probably on a Thursday afternoon or something, and discuss that video and those techniques. And I'm going to try to build from top down to other prospecting techniques and talk about money flow, things like that. Lots of different things, the scans, what they do. But that's yet to come. I'll get those thoughts organized this week. Anyway, I want to concentrate on one scan this week. The online world talks a lot about what the indexes are doing, and that's important, but we really get more insight from looking at individual industry groups, sectors, and so on. This time, though, rather than going from the top down, I'm going to go from bottoms up and explain this scan to you. It's in my current scans. It's folder number 3. It's long-term leaders, and I've broken it down into just long-term leaders intraday when the market's open, long-term leaders HCS box stocks, because a lot of people just like to look at box stocks or stocks with consistent earnings growth. Now this scan in all securities has 49 securities. If I just do the long-term leaders, notice it jumps all the way up to 166. So if you want to concentrate only on stocks with consistent earnings, I would use this. But if you want to look at a broader spectrum of stocks, I would look at this. And it's probably better to look at this because you'll get a much better feel for what's going on. So quickly, let's just take a look at this and see out of these stocks where the long-term leaders are. Biotech, application software, specialty pharma, healthcare, home builders, they've really been strong, precious metal and mining, and so on. So what makes a long-term leader? Well, let's look at the filter. It's primarily a relative strength filter. It's a very simple filter, really. $5 stocks trading at least 500,000 shares. Group rank greater than 0, which means these stocks have to be in groups. Common stocks. Relative strength rank. I use both of them. The HCSI relative strength greater than or equal to 90, and the Kirkpatrick relative strength greater than or equal to 90. Both of them combined really find the strongest stocks because they're weighted differently. This one puts 40% of the emphasis on the last quarter, and the Kirkpatrick relative strength uses a moving average of, I believe it's the last 26 weeks. Let's To read the definitions of how these are calculated, just go to your help menu and look up RS rank or Kirkpatrick relative strength rank, and that'll be the difference. But the combination of the two, which I decided just to try, seems to do a really good job of bringing the strongest stocks up. Now, as you look over here, it's the long-term leaders with these columns. Here's the RS rank. Here's the Kirkpatrick RS rank. They both have to be above 90, and you can see there's a difference in the numbers because they're calculated differently. But with both required, it does a really good job of bringing up the strongest stocks. Now, look at Sky West here. Remember, this is over a longer time period, and this is why relative strength rank is often talked about as the best way to prospect for stocks or find long-term leaders. So I haven't looked at Sky West. I'm going to bring it up. EPS rank is only 18. Group rank is 28. So if we were using ERG, would only be 139. We wouldn't even look at this stock. So let's see how it looks. And you can see that the ERG really doesn't tell us much at all. In fact, this stock has been moving up very nicely. Here's the fan, 200, the 100, the 50. No, I'm sorry. Here's the 200, here's the 100, here's the 50, and the 18, and then the 3 and the 6. But you can see this has been trending up nicely from the $18 level, and it's $10 higher. And if I open this up here, you'll see the RS rank of 93. And if you look up here at the Kirkpatrick rank, it's 99. Now, obviously, this must be some major news earnings report. Probably. Look, the PE is 17.91. Nobody seems to look at PEs anymore. It's in the airlines group, which has a very poor ranking, but yet this stock is doing what I don't believe the other airline stocks are doing. I'm going to just do this on the fly. Let's go to the industry group, and I'll take the filter off, hold the shift key. Let's look at some of the other. Let's look at American. You can see it's in a downtrend. Let's look at Delta, poor, United, but Sky West is moving up. This is why relative strength is a very important way to look for stocks or prospect. Now I'm going to go back to all securities. I'll hold my alternate key, hit the space bar. I'm in all securities. You have to reapply the filter just by clicking up here in this area. Let's look at a few more. West Pharmaceuticals. This fan is in place. It's been moving up nicely for quite some time. The RS ranks 94 here. The Kirkpatrick is 98. And you may be saying to yourself, well, you know, these stocks are gone. Well, these relative strength calculations don't just happen on a day-to-day basis. It takes time for them to build. And there are always opportunities in any stock that's moving up to locate these pullbacks. And these pullbacks, there's one right here, right now. Of course, the stock has moved up a great deal from this point to this point, but here's the pullback. The 3 went down through the 6 with this effort to fall. But what do we have here? We have a low pivot and a doji, and then we have a VPA flag here, strength seen returning. It closed off of its high. It's extended, no question about it, but strong volume came in on Friday. The VPOC turned positive. There was a volume pocket pivot. It may be going higher, I don't know, but it's certainly going in a watch list. It's a lot of cash outlay, so what I would do with this is I would look to see how active the options are, and if the bid-ask spread is narrow enough, I would consider buying a long-term, not a long-term, 30, 30-day bull put spread, but that's a different subject. Let's look at Lilly. Look at this. Nice move up. 34 days ago, it had a pullback on the 3-6, and 7 days ago, it had a pullback on the volume point of control. The ERG's only 206. Here's the RS ranks. So you can see the RS ranks are really the way to prospect for these stocks. Now, where was that pullback on the VPOC? Right here. You can see it came back 2 black bars, and then it turned green. Alternate crosshair right here as it went back up. So these stocks, no stock goes straight up. They have ebbs and flows, and what you're looking for potential entries are the ebbs, and then going with the flows are this is the impulse move, here's the reaction. Here's the impulse, here's the reaction. That's what we're looking for. Let's go down here and take a look at Meta. Earnings were much better than expected, so there was a gap up. Here's the pullback. Now you would have had to buy this going into earnings, but a safer way to do it would be to have a spread position, or if you're a true speculator, you could just buy call options, but they would have been extremely priced at a very extreme level. But you can get into a debit spread or a credit spread without risking a lot of money. But what are the numbers on Meta? Let's move this down. 97 and 99. It's been strong for quite some time. And here was a pullback. Here was a pullback. So the strategy is to look for the leaders and buy the pullbacks, of course, with risk control. Now, I think you probably get the idea on this. I just want you, if you're an Insider Club member, I just want you to look at these scans and look for pullbacks like this one. This just turned positive after a pullback. This one here, Builder's First Source, the volume point of control is still negative, but the 3 crossed the 6 on Friday. Let's look at it. See, VPOC is still red, but here is the crossover to the upside with the 3 crossing the 6, and there were VPA flags here after this pullback. There was a no supply here, but the 3 was below the 6 right here. Notice volume pocket pivot, and then starting to move up. Let's see if the earnings come out in a few days, so you'd have to really be careful. Coming out 5-3, that information is also over here. Okay, I don't have much time this weekend, as you know, so I'm going to end it here, but I just wanted to go into depth on this this scan, how it's built and what it does. And like I said, I'm finally really going to get serious about putting some material together for a webinar series, which if you're an Insider Club member, it's only $100, so it's very affordable. I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend, rest of the weekend.